So he turned to Muawiyah and said, "A'tiqha فَإِنَّهَا مُؤْمِنَةٌ." Free her, because she is a believer. A believer in Allah, as Allah actually is. He used that criterion. Her awareness that Allah was not mixed up in His creation, part and parcel of His creation, he used that to confirm the correctness of her faith. So not enough just to say, I believe there's no God worthy of worship but Allah. But we have to be clear on who is Allah. So, that means the da'wah of people like Harun Yahya, whose books are very popular today. He has put together tomes of books, mostly about evolution and issues concerning evolution, and he's spread out into other areas now too. But his subtle da'wah, which may not be so subtle, he's actually put out a book called The Illusion of Matter, where he says nothing is real. Nothing we see around us is real. And he will go into certain scientific arguments. Yes, scientific argument. You see this table? It appears to you to be solid. But if you go down to the molecular level, the molecules are all bouncing around. So if you were to actually look at this table on the molecular level, it is not solid. It only appears solid to you. And even the color, it appears black to you, but it's not really black. Like the sea that looks blue, but when you take the water out, you find it's clear. Illusion. Matter is an illusion. Nothing exists besides Allah. The only reality is Allah. And as he said, that was the teachings of my great master Shaykh, Shaykh al-Akbar. Who was that? Ibn Arabi. He writes about Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi, who said everything is Allah and Allah is everything. An idea which is called wahdatul wujud, or in English terms, monism. Who said there's no need to pray to Allah outside of yourself. He's in me and He's in you. You can pray to yourself. And so the majority of scholars of his time and after his time said, this man is a heretic. He is a heretic. He has left Islam. Those statements are statements of disbelief. And Harun Yahya is saying he is Shaykh al-Akbar, the greatest Shaykh, who also claimed for himself to be Khatamul Awliya, the seal of the sainthood, which he said is higher than the seal of the prophethood. This man's statement, if one gathers them, it leaves no doubt that he had apostated from Islam with these statements. But this is Harun Yahya's Shaykh al-Akbar. So, and of course what does Shaykh Harun Yahya say in some of his books, in the appendix at the back. And as for those people who believe that Allah is above the heavens, fools that they are, know that Allah is everywhere. The slave girl said, He's above the heavens. And the Prophet ﷺ affirmed what she said. So when we say and make fun of those who say Allah is above the heavens, then we're actually making fun of the Messenger of Allah. So then what happens? For those people who have this narration, authentic narration in Sahih Muslim, what do they then do? Go back to the mind. We're following Quran and Sunnah, but according to how my mind perceives it. In my mind, to say that Allah is above the heavens is ludicrous. Because if you stand on the North Pole, above the heavens is this way. If you stand, you're standing like this. If you stand on the South Pole, then Allah is this way. If you stand on the east, He's that way. If you stand on the west, He's that way. So where is He? So the Prophet ﷺ couldn't have said that. But it's there in Sahih Muslim. Well, perhaps this hadith is da'if. It's weak. You know about weak hadiths? Yeah, we know about weak hadiths. But how do you determine when a hadith is weak? Is it just because it doesn't agree with what you think? Is that how we determine weak hadiths? When it goes against your logic? Yes. That's clear evidence. If it goes against my logic, it's got to be weak. So, I've seen articles written attacking this hadith in order to defend the false principle that Allah is everywhere and in everything. And everything is Allah and Allah is everything. So when we say that the message which Prophet Muhammed ﷺ brought was La ilaha illallah, we have to understand that message in all of its aspects. We have to understand fundamentally how people create gods in their lives so we can cancel them. Then we have to understand correctly who is Allah so that we can actually worship Him. And after that, we have to accept that message sincerely. Not just lip service where we say La ilaha illallah. And some people take that lip service to the dead. A person is dead and their corpse is being taken away to be buried. And people are running along beside the corpse saying, say La ilaha illallah, say La ilaha illallah, say La ilaha illallah. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he did say, laqinu mawtakum La ilaha illallah. If you translate it literally, it says, tell your dead to say La ilaha illallah. However, that is not what the Sahaba understood from that statement. And they were the best to understand Arabic. When it said mawtakum, which literally means you are dead, it meant those who are dying. So those who are dying, they would be reminded to try to make their last words before leaving this world, La ilaha illallah. There is no God worthy of worship but Allah. But once you're dead, you can't hear people telling you, say La ilaha illallah, and you can't respond. You can neither hear what they're saying, nor can you respond to what they're saying. So that's nonsense. That's nonsense. So it's not about just saying La ilaha illallah. It's about accepting La ilaha illallah in our hearts. That it truly enters into our hearts and then becomes manifest in our actions. So we can say when we see that person